So at this time, I would like to welcome our presenters for the evening. Joining us tonight, we have Ms. Gail Charnick and Mr. Sean Ward. They are instructional coaches here in Prince William County Schools. Welcome, Gail and Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Swap out. All right, just want to make sure everybody can see my screen.
Yep.
Good. All right. Well, again, welcome. Thank you for coming to join us to learn more about digital citizenship and how you can support that with your family. Tonight in our overview, we're going to be talking about the qualities of a digital citizenship, qualities of a good digital citizen, some strategies for how you can support digital citizenship at home, including a variety of parent resources we have available on the Prince William County website, as well as an opportunity for question and answers for those of you who are seeking more information on supporting your students. So to start up, we're going to start off with our qualities of a digital citizen.
All right, next slide, please. So many people associate digital citizenship with internet safety and keeping kids safe online and having good passwords. And those are all important things, and that definitely is a part of digital citizenship. But you'll see that our division has a much broader scope for it. We want our students to learn and develop their skills as digital citizens so that they can make informed choices and contribute to making their communities a better place while they're interacting online. So as you can see here on the screen, we have the four qualities that PWCS sees as being a good digital citizen: constructing knowledge through critical and analytical use of technology, using digital tools to explore and exchange ideas safely and responsibly, employing ethics, empathy, and understanding in digital experiences, and managing a healthy balance between their online and real-world lives. These are the qualities that we want our students to learn and develop their skills in. And we are going to now discuss these in more detail.
All right, the first one we are going to talk about is constructing knowledge through critical and analytical use of technology. In our division, we want students to develop skills that help them build knowledge from a variety of online resources, whether those be ones that they find through Google or ones that they are researching through like World Book Online and some curated resources that our division has purchased. We want them to be able to locate that information, evaluate that information, decide which resources are credible, which ones are not. We want to also help our students to learn how to look for biases and how they can, how biases can influence work and how biases can influence understanding of the content that they read online. So one of the ways to promote that quality at home of construction of knowledge is that you can encourage your student to be curious and asking those open-ended questions, depending on whether they see, even if it's not online, maybe if it's on the television, any opportunity to have them ask those questions. I find it's sometimes helpful to model my own critical thinking. If I see something online and I talk about, oh, you know what, I don't know if that's true. Let me go to a better resource, and kind of modeling how you find credible resources and where you look for that information is a great thing to model at home. The other part is really supporting their good choices with helping them find those credible resources. We're going to talk later about some of the resources we have as a division that they can use for credible information, but really helping them navigate so they're not lost out in Google land and into things that we don't want them to find.
Students should develop skills to help them use digital tools to explore and exchange ideas safely and responsibly. So some examples of those things: we want them to be able to develop their skills so that they can collaborate online with others. We want them to, while doing that, be able to interact in a positive way with other people as they're communicating online. We want to promote productive problem solving. we want them to be able to provide positive and reflective feedback to others. If they read or look at the work of others, we want them to be able to provide feedback in a positive way. And we want them to be able to evaluate tools. And like Gail mentioned, being lost in Google land, we want them to use tools and be able to, search for information and be able to evaluate, is this a good resource for me to use? And we want them to also value copyright laws and learn about giving credit to others when they use an image or quote something in a paper that they use that they got from somewhere else, giving appropriate credit where it's due. Next slide, please. So some strategies for how you could help promote this quality at home. It's good maybe have a conversation with your student about what is appropriate and what is not appropriate information to share online. Like sharing basic information, but definitely not, we encourage them at school to not share any personally identifiable information with others or while they're online. Take some time to get familiar with your child's interests and the technology platforms they like to use. Taking a genuine interest in what they enjoy will help you better understand what they're doing and why they're doing it and why they like it, and help you move forward. Hopefully help you feel more comfortable about what they're doing while they're online. And another strategy might be to routinely check your child's search history to see, what they're searching for and what sites they're going to on the internet, and having, a conversations related to that.
Great. One of the next behaviors of a digital citizen is we want them to employ ethics, empathy, and understanding in their experiences. For this one, we really grab this image from Common Sense Media, which we'll share some resources from them at the end of the presentation. But it really talks about how we are as digital citizens and looking at our rings of responsibility, that we are responsible to ourselves, to our community, and to our world, and how our digital experiences really impact all three of those rings of responsibility. So for this characteristic, we want students to develop their own kind of identity and understand how their identity and their reputation that they create also impacts the digital world and how it could also impact their future. Sometimes you may have heard of like digital footprint, and are you leaving a good footprint that would be good beyond once you leave school, when employers and other people are able to search and find your information. In addition, touched on a little bit in the last one as well, is that we want them to use kindness and empathy. We want them to be able to respond appropriately to negativity when someone is not always going to agree with us. And if they're not agreeing with us, how do we react to that? How do we promote, take that feedback and that reflection and go, okay, I'm going to turn this into something different. I'm going to ignore it. How do we respond to some of those things? We want to make sure that they are using kindness and empathy with all that they're doing online. We want to also make sure that what they're sharing is true and meaningful. Especially as students get older, sometimes the rumors start, and we want to make sure that students are taking a chance to stop and reflect. Am I sharing what is meaningful? Am I sharing information that I only saw on one source and didn't fact check, and so therefore I could be spreading information that is not true, or presenting information that I may not have looked at enough resources. So we feel like it's really important for them to be ethical with what they share, to have empathy towards others, and be able to have that discourse and conversation that is productive without putting down and being negative towards others. So to promote this quality at home, here are a couple of suggestions we have for how parents can support students. Really, some basic conversations they're having about how our words can affect others. Even again, going back to modeling, you find something online that you don't agree with, you don't like, it creates a reaction for you. Talk to your students about how you handle that. How does that impact? How did that affect you? How will that affect the community? How does that affect the world? Discuss if they feel, what should they do? As your parent, as a parent, what do you want their response to be if they were to come across someone who has made them feel uncomfortable online or is bullying them online? What avenues do they have? Having those conversations often and early lets students know who to contact when something comes online that does make them uncomfortable. This could be ranging anywhere from photos and social media, messages, even if it's a disturbing image, if they're younger and they see something online that makes them uncomfortable, have that conversation to not be ashamed that it popped up, but hey, how do I go forward to prevent that in the future? Another way is to just, again, modeling those online interactions. Look for those teachable moments throughout your day where you can show your children where you used empathy, where you provided understanding, so that they see you making those good choices as well.
And the last quality that we want to discuss is the idea of helping students develop skills to help them maintain a healthy balance between their online and their real world lives. This image here was generated using AI, and we thought it provided a good visual of like a balance of there's some kids in the image playing soccer, playing outside, and others are, playing on their devices. We want students to be able to use technology purposefully. We want them to use it. Something in our roles we try to promote is helping students while they're at school, giving them opportunities to use technology for creating things and use their creativity and make things instead of just strictly for consuming content. We want them to identify the benefits of using digital options versus offline options. When is the technology going to enhance the lesson or make it something good versus it may just be replacing something that could easily be done without it. And we want them to understand the negative effects of using too much technology or overuse. Next slide, please. So strategies for how to promote the equality at home. Having conversations and kind of coming up with rules for your house of when, how, and where technology can be used at home. I would suggest even, involving your children in that conversation. If they feel they've had a part in creating the rules, they may be more invested in wanting to follow them. Also consider like tech-free times or areas for everyone in the family, like during meals or at bedtime, things like that. And also modeling those behaviors yourself can also go a long way. Also, like I just mentioned before, kind of encouraging when they are using technology at home, encouraging them to use it for creation rather than just us for consuming information solely. And also take some time if you can to sit with your child and explore content together. It can be a way for you to connect and kind of see what they're interested in and be a part of that while also providing you an opportunity to supervise them while they're using the technology.
All right, we're going to take a little pause. We've gone over the four characteristics of digital citizenship as outlined by Prince William County Schools. And so thinking about some of the strategies that we shared, which one of those ones that you were thinking that, that's something I could try this month with my student? So just kind of opening that up to the chat. What's one strategy that you heard so far that you feel like you want to try or support with your own students? We'll give you a couple seconds to put your ideas in the chat, or maybe it's something that's an idea that was sparked from what we said. All right, well, hopefully you've had time to kind of think about what we shared. We're going to show you a couple places where you can find some additional strategies as well. All right. So moving forward, we want to also share what Prince William County does to support digital citizenship. It's kind of multifaceted. We have our instructional support, and instructionally, we support digital citizenships by providing educators with resources. We have resources from a variety of places that they can use, whether in their classroom and with their students. We encourage our educators to embed the digital citizenship in the lessons they're already teaching. So not necessarily an additional lesson, but hey, when we're talking about research, we're going to talk about that good digital citizenship and finding credible resources during that part of the content. So it's not necessarily always taught as a separate finite lesson, but really more embedded in the lessons that they're already teaching. We do enable the access to credible digital resources. Our students have access to World Book Online through Clever. They can go there and access information. There's a couple different versions, a student and kid version. They have access to a wonderful resource, Discovery Ed. If you have a student who likes to just watch videos and look at videos on YouTube, consider sitting down with them and navigating to Discovery Education. It can also be found through Clever. This has a variety of resources and online interactions and videos about any topic that they could possibly want to learn about. And you know that if they're in Discovery Ed, these are credible, educational, they've been verified and trusted. It's a great resource for those students. We also provide, as a district, we provide those creativity tools that Sean was talking about. Regardless of the device that they have, students have access to things like Canva, Adobe Express, Book Creator, on their iPads for our K-5 students. If they have an iPad, there are also creativity apps on there, including GarageBand and Pages and Clips. So there's lots of different ways for them to be creative. And so sitting down with them and find out, like Sean said, which ones of those things interest them the most, and learning how they engage with that and how we can encourage the creativity over the consumption. In terms of communication and collaboration, I did want to touch on, we do support collaboration with many of our Microsoft 365 tools. We have collaboration in a lot of our other apps like Book Creator. They can have discourse and learning. Many of our students learn how to have that discourse and feedback through Canvas discussions. So we do provide a lot of instructional support for teaching digital citizenship.
And from the technical support side, there are also several things. PWCS is committed to supporting digital citizenship and the data privacy of our students. Some of the things that our technical support teams do to help with these areas. We use Google Safe Search and internet filtering options to help keep our students' online experiences safe. We have a process to review emails and storage and images to encourage positive communication and to prevent misuse. We provide emergency alerting services to ensure that timely assistance is provided for those in need. Our teams scan the devices to help protect them and filter for content that's not appropriate. And we also go through a process of reviewing software to ensure that we are providing our students with high quality resources that also help safeguard our student data.
Prince William County takes student data privacy very
seriously.
Very seriously.
Very seriously, yes.
All right, we're going to take you on a little tour of the website and share with you a few more parent resources that you have available to you if you want to learn more after our webinar. On the Prince William County website, which you can access when you receive this, you can click on this image, or you can use a QR code if you're on your phone, if you have another device available. It'll take you right through the website. On this website, I'm going to navigate now to it and kind of take you on a little tour of what is available. On our digital citizenship page, on our landing page, you will hear a summary of how Prince William County supports. That's what we just kind of went over. We have a link to parent resources and a link to student resources if you'd like your student to kind of navigate and learn more about digital citizenship on their own. You'll see an outline of the behaviors. Let's go ahead into those parent resources. So you'll see again that we've divided this, this web page provides a list of those qualities that we just talked about: constructing knowledge, using tools, employing empathy, and having that safe, that healthy balance. If you click on the plus sign next to each one of those, oh, hold on, before I do that, I do want to make you aware of the parent responsibility section at the front. In Prince William County, we do have an internet safety policy and a responsible use policy that outlines how students should be using the handbook, as well as the code of behavior. Digital citizenship qualities are kind of found in all three of those. All right, so let's go ahead to click on the plus sign. What you will find when you click on the plus sign is we will have provided, in addition to the strategies that we shared with you today, we didn't have time to go through all of them, but under each one of these, we have provided additional strategies on how it may look at home. So you may find other suggestions if you're looking for something in one of these categories. In addition, there are some other parent resources down at the bottom that I think Sean will go over as well. I also want to take note that there are student resources that allow information for students or interactives, and as well as we talked a little bit about this, but BARC. Through our partnership with BARC, Prince William County families can get BARC Junior for free, and they can get the premium with a 20% off for code for a year. Our division employs this application, and that is what's part of our emergency alert system, that in case students or things get flagged online, it's through BARC, but you can have some of those same features used with your children at home. So if you want to learn more about it, head over to the Digital Citizenship website to get more information about it. I think that's kind of the tour. And then I think Sean's going to share a little bit more.
Can you go back to the parent resources page? Figure we'll just keep. So under the other resources, we just wanted to highlight a few of these. Would you click on the first one, the Parents Ultimate Guides? So this is a resource from Common Sense Media, Common Sense Education, that provides some guides for parents on a variety of different topics. There's kind of things organized by age group, and they also have resources for different applications that are commonly used.
Looks as though
It looks like they've updated this. Yes. Okay. Never
Used to have
mind.
access for free, so we'll have to we'll update that for you to see if we can find that information. When we did this in December, it was there. Now they're, as always, they like to take money from us.
All right, the second one's still there.
Which
Digital Citizenship for Family Engagement. So there's some. Okay, so this has some of the guides that I was referring to. Like there's some different recommendations and things and guides for how like Instagram or other different tools work, and advice for parents on, helping their students navigate those tools. All right, let's go to the third one. Yeah. So these are some additional digital citizenship resources for family engagement. There's some tips and suggestions for different activities you can do with your children. Conversation packets for different questions and suggestions for having conversations about different topics.
Sorry, I just was kind of doing a brief little overview.
Yep, that's great.
Family tips, activities, awesome. The next one was the NetSmarts.
So NetSmarts is another organization similar to Common Sense education and media that provides resources for students and families as well. On this page, there's several different tip sheets, both in English and Spanish, different suggestions and ideas about different digital citizenship topics.
Gail and Sean, I have a question
Sure.
for when you were talking about the guides for like TikTok and Instagram and things like that. Does it also show parents maybe how to set up like privacy settings and things like that on those, or is it just more of a like what you should and shouldn't do?
Some of them, I think, I'm trying to remember which resource did. Sometimes they do, like the Protecting Kids Online, I think had some, I'm trying to remember which one did have, like you said, how do you set up those guidelines? This, I don't know if the apps explained is one of them. I honestly don't remember exactly which one, but I feel like there was one that that did kind of go through some of that information. If I'm able to locate that, I'll tell you. We can send that out in the email.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You'll notice that like one of the ones we talk about is checking your browsing history. That is one that's here. If you're not familiar with how to check browsing history, there is a link to kind of to share that information. Oh, that was Sean's last one. Sorry. But there's, we try to provide as many resources as we can. If you know of one that's that we did not include that you feel like is worthwhile to families, feel free to share it with us. We do want to express the caveat that these web pages are they're not affiliated with Prince William County Schools. So as you saw, whenever I click on one, it does give you the notice that you're leaving our website. So there may be things that are not necessarily endorsed by our division. And so just know that when you're headed there.
But they are created by organizations whose work is intended to help families with providing resources for digital citizenship in situations like this.
Common Sense Media is a great resource. It's one educators use. We have downloaded some of their information to provide that for educators so that they have that available. That is a very common and well-respected, valued resource. All right, so let's see if we go back to our digital citizenship page.
One quick thing that I noticed in the chat, we talked before about strategies for kind of being with your students while they're on their device, but that can also apply to watching television also. One suggestion that was shared was, while watching TV with your child, if you notice, something is inappropriate coming up, keeping the remote close to you and, changing the channel. And, kind of helping them make good choices for watching TV as well. So it's kind of related.
Mm-hmm. Great. So now we're open for any additional questions that you may have or comments related to digital citizenship and working with your students online. Sean and I can try to answer them as best we can or point you in the right direction. So feel free to add those to our chat.
You can add questions to the chat, or you're more than welcome to raise your hand if you want to come off mute to ask your question as well. All right, I don't think we have any questions in the chat.
There was one question, do we
Yep.
share this information with the students too?
The information we have on the website is available to all of our students, so they can see this information as well. As I was explaining earlier, many of the lessons are embedded in the content we're already teaching, whether it's during a research lesson or whether a teacher is working on doing discussions with discussing a topic. That is when we try to have them authentically come in and kind of teach digital citizenship alongside the content. but they have access to this information as well.
Great question. Any other questions? All right. Well, I would just like to say thank you so much to Gail and Sean for joining us this evening, and to you all for taking the time to join us today. We have posted our survey in the chat. Please take the time to fill it out. It's a short survey. This gives us an idea of how we're doing and maybe some future topics you may want to see. Again, this session was recorded. And so will do a follow-up email with the PowerPoint presentation as well as the video recording, so that you have it available as a resource and you're able to, check all the resources that were reviewed today. So thank you all, and I hope you have a wonderful evening, and we'll see your students back at school tomorrow. A 2-hour delay. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
That's it.